Jay is going to be getting the third point going into the final written question from the players, which is going to be JPO's question: what character deserves their own spin-off? So now we're going to bring the players back in, and we are going to start with JPO. 60-second opening when you begin.
One of my favorite parts about Reboot is that we find out that Loki, played by Matt Damon, is not dead, that he's been kind of just toiling around Earth, and it seems like he's still got that spirit that we loved from Dogma here. And man, did that just make me want to see more of Loki. Let's keep following that journey here. I think this could be a great either mini series or hour and a half comedy here. Matt Damon, I think, has proven between the Kevin Smith films, The Informant, Stuck on You, that he's a great comedic actor as well here. And yeah, I've kind of Dogma is a unique universe where I kind of never thought we could find a way back into it. But I think this is a great way to get back into it. Let's see more of that kind of universe he built just in Dogma that we really haven't revisited much. It's a perfect road trip kind of film too that I think we could easily shoehorn in Jay and Silent Bob, where like they won't feel put in just to put them in. I think it would all make sense. I think it would be really fun to see catch up with Loki and Matt Damon.
Okay, and time. Now we're going to bounce over to Will. 6 seconds when you begin speaking.
So everyone's talking about meta with Kevin Smith, what he's doing now. So I would definitely love to see a meta joke movie satire with Cockknocker in the vein of Joker. I want to see like this bizarrely gritty version of Cockknocker, as he goes up, especially if the comic that was written about Cockknocker and his origins. It just is so fucking silly. I want to see just the piss taken out of Joker. I hate that movie, but I think putting a Kevin Smith spin, putting this great satire on such this great character, call it CK, call it Knocker, whatever you want to call it. It's Cockknocker. It's Mark Hamill is just doing more and more just bizarrely meta humor type roles. I want to see him return. I just want to see this. I just want to see what they could do with this film.
And time. All right, going over to Jay. 6 seconds for your opening.
I know exactly what everybody's going to say against mine. Oh, it's a backdoor character. Guess what? You know what? You know what my character specializes in? Going in the back door. Brandon St. Randy is my fucking choice. You say what you want to say. Oh, he was introduced in Zack and Mary Make a Porno. Guess what? He is also their lawyer, according to Kevin Smith. We're not taking that, but according to Kevin Smith, he is their lawyer in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. What I want to see is a movie about a character that has introduced themselves and been flung into the View Askewniverse, that has gone from a gay porn star being the Sherpa up a mountain of gayness to becoming a public defender in fucking Leonardo, New Jersey. Honestly, might seem like a step down. Comedy wise, I honestly think that might be the step in the right direction. Just with the fact that like Justin Long has everything it is that I need from a comedic actor. This is the perfect choice for a perfect spin-off in the View Askew.
And Tato, 6 seconds when you begin speaking.
It's okay. The answer got accepted. It's going to be okay, Jay. I love you. Anyway, for years, the black man has played the... no, I should probably not do that. But what I
No,
do
it's fine. It's March.
Oh, okay. Good. For years, the black man has played the... I'm definitely curious to see what our good friend Hooper X is up to these days. What got me thinking this is a line that he has in Chasing Amy. I got to deal with being a minority and a minority of the minority, and nobody's supporting my ass. Because in 1997, the craziest thing you could be, apparently, is a gay black man. So I'm just really curious as to what Hooper's take on 2023 and what we got going on now is he still an artist? We can hang out with some other old friends like Alyssa and shit like that, as it's a View Askew movie. Obviously, we're going to get other characters and shit like that. And since I love Chase and Amy so much, it'll be awesome to kick it with characters from that realm. We can get Jay and Bob in there. We never got to see.
All right, now we are going to go into the open. We're going to start with JPO. When 30 seconds. So now we've been testing out. So you're going to get 2 turns at it because the 90-second closing is plenty for you guys to wrap it up. So you're going to have 2 turns in the open debate instead of the 3 like we've been doing. So JPO, when you begin your first of your 2 open debates, 30 seconds, go.
I did the similar 3 things that everyone said against mine here, is that I feel like these, almost every single one of them, are side characters for a reason here. Cockknocker is a 5-minute SNL skate, or maybe a short film we can add on to a DVD here. Do we want an hour and a half of that? What is the meat in that here? And unfortunately, too, Will already said we got to censor the title, which does take out part of the fun. Cock blockers, you're not going to have cock in that title. I don't want a CK movie here. Brendan saying, Randy, you also have legal problems here. You can't have Brendan Routh, can't have Zach, can't have Miri. And again, is that a fun character for 5 minutes? Glenn sucking Glenn Gary's meaty cock? Yeah, he is hilarious in 5-minute increments. An hour and a half of that, him doing that? I don't think so. It's going to become Adam Sandler fun voice territory here. Hooper X, here's the problem with that. Later.
So clearly JPO doesn't understand why why I pitched Cockknocker as as the character. I want to see the meta comic book Joker-like film, The Rise of Cockknocker. Fine, call it Cockknocker. This is no longer the 90s. We could probably say cock all we want. Here's the thing, though. Brendan St. Randy, yeah, whatever. Jay actually did more damage to his own character than any of us are going to do. Hooper X, good, but passable. Loki, he's not great without Bartleby. Sorry, I don't what I need more of is Cockknocker.
Yikes.
We're on me, right? Obviously, I'm the big guy. All right. So first off, we got Loki's movie already. It's called Dogma. I don't need any other story than that. They've already given us all of the backstory that we need with them. If you're trying to tell me that I need to have like this whole movie about them being trapped in an airport in Wisconsin, pass. Cockknocker. Okay, cool. Like JPO said, 5-minute sketch. Hooper X. We see what happens to him. We see what happens to Hooper X at the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. What I'm giving you is a movie spinoff that we don't know where it's going, with the exception of he ends up as a lawyer in this movie. That is the origin story that I actually want to see, because it creates a story that we haven't seen before in the View Askew universe.
And Tato.
Dwight Ewell, who plays Hooper, is always an actor I wanted to see more of, because I do love the Hooper character. So why not see more of him in that? And yes, we do see him with Banky in the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. How did he get there with Banky? Are he and Banky having a thing now that Banky has explored some of his repressed homosexuality? That became very evident that exists at the end of Chasing Amy. I would love to see more of, I would love to see that on a serious side, maybe, if that's what Kevin Smith were to hypothetically want to do with it. I think that it would be, it'd be great to see him again. The Cockknocker, like the cock blockers thing. So it's not that we can't get away with cock in the 90s. We can't get away with cock.
Jacob.
Oh, I got you, Tato. So yeah, it's not a 90s thing, because that was a 2018 movie, Will, so we still can't say cock. Going back down to Hooper. Here's I think the problem with that is Kevin Smith isn't really the one to be writing a movie about a powerful black man. Let someone else write that, not the big cis white male. So I don't think this is a movie that will fit into kind of his canon here, and you can maybe argue you could be a producer here, and then we're kind of totally getting out of the hairs here. Cockknocker, there's a reason, it's barely even referenced in Reboot, other than like kind of the teases, because there's not a lot of meat here. We don't really need that here. Brendan St. Randy, again, put him in a scene or two. That was perfect in Reboot. We got him again. Cool. One scene is what he fits in best here. Loki is an interesting character and a full-fledged character that we want to see more of because we haven't seen this kind of little mini world of angels and demons here. We can get Bartleby maybe in an episode here in a dream sequence here.
Yeah, everyone keeps on saying that this is a fight, that this could be a 5-minute thing, but but Kevin Smith took characters that were 5-minute increments here and made 2 movies about them, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. So if he actually takes the care to flesh out the character, to flesh out this story and make it a Joker-like film, yeah, you can easily do that. So Brandon St. Randy, it's just not interesting. There's things that could be done, but I haven't heard anything about that. Hooper X, we have actually seen that. We have seen the full range of that character already. We've already seen the full range of Loki. We haven't seen Kevin Smith really go into full satire mode with something like a Joker-like Rise of Cockknocker, and that's why it's more interesting.
As I've already stated, we get. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Before I even get into this, is this my final 30 or is this my
final 30?
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to make sure. Sorry.
Just for future reference, I'll announce it when it's the closing.
Okay. I wanted to make sure because you said there were 2 and I didn't keep.
I respect that. You're good.
We saw what happened at the end of Hooper X's story. We saw what happened to Cockknocker. You want to sit here and talk about we need a meta version of this? He already did the meta version of that, and it was called Jay and Silent Bob Reboot when they decided that they were going to try to remake Jay and Silent Bob. I don't need another Loki movie because we've already gotten the only origin story that we need for Loki because Loki is an actual character in the Bible. What I am pitching to you is a character story about probably one of the most original characters, probably one of the most funniest characters. You can say that it'll get old. A lot of characters get old after the first about 20, 40 minutes of a movie. But you know what he does? He creates the story that you actually want to see, and that's why Brandon St. Randy is the best choice.
All right, now we are in the up to 90-second closings, starting with JPO. Or no, this is Tato. Sorry, Tato's last roundabout. Sorry. Once again, every time someone asks me a question, it throws off my rotation. Tato,
sorry, bro. Sorry,
you're good. You're good.
And you said for 90?
No, this is your last open round.
Gotcha. Thanks, bud. Yeah. So as far as Kevin Smith making movies about if he shouldn't make a movie about a gay black man, he is still closer to a gay black human than a fallen angel of death. So if we're making movies on subject matter that is familiar to us, let's not go with Loki either. He's also not a cock knocker, so I don't think that's relevant here. We haven't seen the full range of Hooper X. We have not seen the end of his story. I want to see how he lives now in 2023. We've seen how he lived in 97, and we saw a chunk of how he lived in 2001. That is far from a man's entire life story. We can be funny.
All right, so now we are going to start with JPO. This is just me as being a host. My opinion is in the last 90 seconds, if you kind of want to give us an idea of your spinoff, just to give us an idea of what we're kind of judging. You guys talked about the characters. Now, if you want to talk about your premise, that's my opinion. You don't have to, but that's just my opinion as a host when I'm throwing that out there if you want to. Up to 90 seconds, JPO, when you start.
Thank you, Henry. Good job, Tato. When we can hire an angel of death to direct, we will. But let's go with the real world here first. Loki, I think, has easily the media story that we could still tell here because we saw a lot of charm, a lot of heart, and also a guy that was willing to kill people. In an office, in a movie's office here. We could tell a really great redemption story of this guy who's still tempted. Maybe there's a loophole to get back into heaven. Does he give up all the work he's done over the years here? Where is this character here? And also, unlike a lot of other characters that we've seen, we got a little bit more of Hooper in the past. We got more Brendan St. Randy, Cockknocker. We haven't visited a lot of these people. I'd love to see what's up with Rufus here. I'd love to see what's up with Serendipity. You could get these people back for cameos, or if it's a miniseries, an episode or two. Cockknocker is the epitome of a fun little side joke here. That's why he's in one scene, and then in Reboot, almost a negative scene here because there's not much to say or do about it. Plus I read in a Kevin Smith interview once. Just kidding. Brendan St. Randy, again, every time I see him, I smile, but I'm very much once he's done, I'm full. Chocolate covered pretzels, I need no more. I'm full. I don't need an hour and a half of that character. And again, Hooper X, I think we kind of saw enough. It's not really his tale to tell. I think any more here, give that kind of story to somebody else here. Loki, I think, has the most interesting arc, the most interesting universe and set of characters that we haven't really seen much of, and we'll have to revisit here. That scene left me wanting so much more here, and I think it would easily be the funniest, most character-driven one we get.
All right, Will, now up to 90 seconds when you begin.
I thought it was me.
So so Loki has a complete story arc in Dogma, and that little bit that we see in Reboot, yeah, I didn't care enough about what's going on in him to sit through a 90-minute to 2-hour film. Hooper X. Do I trust Kevin? Do I trust Kevin Smith to pull the ultimate Quentin Tarantino with Jackie Brown? No, I don't. I don't think that would work at all. That's why I don't think that would exactly be the great spinoff. Brendan St. Randy is actually kind of annoying in the few things. Yeah, he has some great lines, but that accent drives me nuts. And do I want to see that? Do I want to hear that accent for 2 hours? No, I don't. Cockknocker is exactly what Kevin Smith is kind of trying to do. He's trying to be as meta as he humanly can be. And so making this kind of Joker-like villain origin story, that's exactly in Kevin Smith's wheelhouse right now. He wants to do more comic book stuff. He wants to do more meta stuff. And yeah, we only see him for 5 minutes, but given what we can do, given the origin story, given what Kevin Smith now knows what he can do with comic book things, working on various DC projects like Supergirl and stuff like that, I think that would be really great to see this kind of great action, action satire in Cockknocker.
And now it's Jay. 90 seconds, up to 90 seconds when you begin speaking.
Using Loki to look for a loophole in order for him to do anything is literally just called the movie Dogma. I don't need to see that again. I've already seen it. Hooper X was a tropish character, and it wasn't really well written, and we already see how his story ends. Cockknocker isn't involved, and that's why we don't see him. That's why we don't see Mark Hamill make a resurgence in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. It's not that Kevin Smith couldn't actually argue against him showing up after he guilted everybody else into making a cameo as an individual after he has already had a heart attack. Brandon St. Randy, however, has that role where you can take, I wanted to be a stripper and then I became a porn star and then I made all of my money and then I wanted to go and actually do something and better my life as a character in a movie. I think might be probably one of the best things that you can ever do with a character in a Kevin Smith movie, because he can drop that facade of doing the I'm the Sherpa of the Mountain of Gayness voice, but he only adds it to when he needs to create that facade of who he is and who he becomes in the courtroom after that fact. I think adding that into everything might be probably one of the best choices that you could actually make. That way you're not losing yourself in who is this character? I don't know who this character is. I remember this character, but this character is actually an actor. And what he wants to do is better himself and better humanity. I think that's why Brandon St. Randy is the best character to create a spinoff in a film ever.
And Tato, up to 90 seconds when you begin.
Interesting. Yeah, it's weird that the stripper porn star gay guy is less tropish than the comic book artist gay guy. That one doesn't quite add up for me, but okay. I will go in. I'll agree with JPO in that Cockknocker and Brandon St. Randy are both funny characters for 2 seconds, and you don't want to see that much more of them. Hooper X and Loki are characters like Loki. You can watch a whole movie of. We have done it before, as noted. But again, do we want to do it again necessarily with that? Hooper X, like I said, I want to see what he is up to now. How is his comic book, White Hayton, doing? It's a fantastic title. A great book. Give it a read if you can. I want to see what he is up to these days. I want to see his relationships with people. Is he in a relationship with Banky? Did he have a relationship with Banky? Were they just being dirty that one night at the movies? What else is going on with Hooper X's life? He's a very interesting character who just maybe did not get as fleshed out because he was he was a tertiary character in Chasing Amy. So I want to see more of him. I think Kevin Smith can do it. And now I think would be a great time to do it, to hear that character's voice.
And time. All right. We are going to now bring in the judges, and we are going to decide who is going to take the final player submitted question. I'm going to start off with this one. So I got a couple of opinions here in terms of two movies that half the time sounded like sequels more than spin-offs. One movie that sounded like a bit, and then one movie that actually sounded like a movie. So the one that I'm going in last place is unfortunately going to be JPO for me, just because it does really sound like kind of like a Dogma sequel more than a spinoff, because Jay hit him really hard of everything that we got from a character perspective of Loki, we got in Dogma. So everything that JPO pitched was more of a Dogma sequel than an actual Loki spinoff. So I gave JPO a 6. Everyone was able to knock Jay pretty good. Brandon St. Randy of just kind of the voice and kind of a bit character. Jay did a good job of pitching of why he would be interesting, but I didn't get enough story for the spinoff. Just kind of he kind of got it towards the end of like, in Hollywood and all this stuff, dropped the voice, but that kind of seemed like a half, a kind of a last minute, throw in thing versus kind of a good fleshed out idea. So it was between Tato and Will for me, because both of them had really solid ideas, and the tiebreaker is actually going to go to Will, because I really liked his Joker idea concept of what he's doing with Cockknocker. Everyone tried to knock him off as kind of a bit part, but Will had a decently fleshed out idea of like going with a Joker. In his opening, he made me seem like just Joker's the character, but then I understood he meant Joker the movie, which, luckily I caught on to that, because if not, I don't think it would have made as much of a connection. And then Tato kind of got knocked just a hair for me, because similar with JPO, it seems half the time was like a Chasing Amy sequel more than a Hooper X spinoff. But in his closing, he was able to find that, had to fine tune that of it being a Hooper X sequel, so or a spinoff. So I had 8, Will at 8, Tato at 7.5. Brian.
Yeah, I'm largely agreeing with you. I have JPO on the bottom with 5 points. I kind of the same thing. I didn't really get a clear picture of what he was going to do with his movie that wasn't kind of already covered in some of the stuff I've already seen. So just because I didn't have a whole lot to go on there, I gave him just a 5. Next up, I do have Jay with Brandon St. Randy. First of all, I just wanted to say I liked that JPO attacked it by saying, an hour and a half for that, you do an accent is in the Adam Sandler territory. He's saying that as a negative, so we have proof now that Adam Sandler is not funny, so you guys can stop trying to preach that his movies are good. Just want to say that.
You cockknocker.
Yeah. But I mean, Jay had a couple of holes in his argument, like he would attack Tato's Hooper X, saying, well, we've already seen where that character ends up, and then he says, well, my character, we know he ends up as a lawyer, we don't see, so he's attacking him but trying to pitch the exact same thing for his character, so that kind of took away from his own argument a little bit. So yes, Jay had a 6. In second place, I have Tato with Hooper X story. I actually liked his pitch, talking about how this is a character who's kind of unique. He's a minority and a minority. And I did like that he was not pitching it as a prequel. He was not necessarily saying, let's see what happened to him between then and now. He said, this is this is him now further on. Let's see what his life is like. Let's get a whole story about him, get more rounded out. JPO's attack about how Kevin Smith is not the person to make this movie. I hate that argument. I hate this whole thing. It's like if somebody told a black man they can't make a story about a white person, people would lose their goddamn minds. It has to have a white director. No, that wouldn't go. So I hate that whole argument. Anyway, in first place, Will. Will had me from his opening argument. Beginning of this thing, I gave him a 9. I think that his idea of taking Cockknocker and doing like a Joker type story with a kind of a gritty thing, but obviously it's going to hit Kevin Smith's kind of more satirical kind of approach to it. I can just picture that, and I love it. And yes, it could easily be a 5-minute sketch on SNL, but I could also see them making a whole movie of this. I thought he fleshed out the idea pretty well. And then people attacking him saying they couldn't put cock on the poster. I don't think that's a problem because honestly, call it Knocker. It looks that much more like Joker, which just plays further into the joke. So I really like the way he did that. So.
What was Tato's score? Just so I have the numbers.
Tato had 7.
Okay. And Papa, what was your thought? By the way, shout out Will and Will, his reaction at the bottom. I can see it. It's awesome. Papa, what is your scores?
I was very confused this round because I don't know who most of these characters are. The only one I do is Brandon St. Randy because I have seen Zach and Miri make a porno, and I haven't seen like any other Views Universe.
And he only watched actually saw the word porno in it.
That's actually very accurate. Again, this is going to surprise everybody. I'm pretty opposite of y'all. I had Will I know, right, Brian? I had Will at the bottom. Again, not saying he was bad. It's just he made the comment, or he's trying to build this whole Cockknocker Joker type movie, but satirical, which Joker itself is not a satirical movie. So I was a little confused at that. But that being said, Will still gets 7 points. Another reason I was confused, Loki season 2 has been announced, so we have more Loki spinoffs. Loki, JPO got next with 8 points. I didn't like the argument everyone was throwing at him of the we've seen Loki in a full-fledged movie. It's called Dogma. And I did think he did a good job of countering that. Again, I didn't see where he was going with this spinoff. Just, hey, we love this character. And then as far as the second place and first place, I have Tato in second with 9. And then Jay winning it with 10. And really what it comes down to, Jay started it off by giving me what his story was going to be. We see Brandon St. Randy, the porn star. We see Brandon St. Randy, the lawyer. How do we get from here to here? And used a lot of his argument explaining that. I loved his closing too because he started bringing some emotion, which I really didn't feel anybody brought emotion this entire question. Tato, towards the end, I flipped you and JPO right at the end because I was going to have him in third place. But he really did kind of build the what is the spinoff story going to be? Why does Papa need to see this spinoff? So Tato in second with 9, Jay winning it with 10.
All right, and with that said, easy math here. In last place, JPO was 6.7. In third place, despite the 10, Jay was 7.5, Tato with 7.8, and to tie up the score, one across the board is Will, the Cockknocker himself, with 1. So that means we are going into the main event question, winner take all.